Howdy, 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 my darling Capricorn. Welcome to your weekly tarot reading for January 2023. Hopefully something in here resonates with you. What we're going to be tapping into today, Capricorn, is your past, present, and your future. We're going to see what's going on in your life right now and give you a sense of direction, give you some clarity about that as well, my darling Capricorn. So if that sounds good to you, which just based off of these cards that I'm pulling, it's looking pretty fabulous. Spoiler alert, Capricorn. Then keep on watching here. All right. So let's get right into this here. In your past, Capricorn, I feel like you've had to walk away from a situation big time. And I feel like this is not the first time that you walked away from it. I feel like you caught yourself in a pattern with a situation here. All right, you could, in this, especially if this is like a social situation, a relationship in your life, Capricorn, this is a situation where it's like you really wanted to give somebody the benefit of the doubt, and you saw the red flags as something that they could grow from, perhaps, right? You have the Eight of Cups, the Tower card in the reverse, the King of Cups, and then the Knight of Wands here, Capricorn, all right? And so to me, this reads off where it's like you gave up on it at one point, or you started walking away at one point. And I feel like on some level they could have said, it's like, oh, Capricorn, I've changed. Or maybe you saw a change in them when you first started walking away from the situation. You're just like, okay, like, this job, I gave my 2-week notice, but they're saying that they're going to do the according changes necessary, but I feel like it's, especially if this is like a person that you've been dealing with, Capricorn, I feel really deeply in that. I want to just say, like, bless their heart, really, here. And I feel like you're able to move on from this person. Like, I feel like it was necessary for you, Capricorn, first and foremost, for you to really to re-entertain this situation, because you needed to get to this point. Like, this person needed to push you away enough, or to really impede your creation process for your future enough, to the point where you're just like, okay, like, I'm not being too cynical, I'm not being a bitch or anything like that, Capricorn. Like, you had to have that in your head, right? Because I feel like the first time around you were in this place of being like, okay, maybe I'm being too hard, I could also work on myself, da, 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 da. And it's like, no, darling, Capricorn. Like, you came back, and now you're just like, why did I ever come back in here, Capricorn, right? So I'm going to be the type of tarot reader, honey, where I'm not going to make you feel bad about going back to somebody, right? It's a very human thing, whether this is with a family member, romantic, job-wise, whatever the case is. It was necessary for you to entertain that situation enough, all right? That's something I really want to have you give yourself grace on, because I feel like there's a lot of shame that you have potentially, Capricorn. I feel like for many of you, you're already at peace with the idea, and you're just like, all right, I understand things. Like, you have gone through your own, I know this is such an overused phrase, Capricorn, but I feel like you've gone through your own personal spiritual awakening. And spiritual awakening, people will say it's like in such a general way and without really meaning too much, Capricorn. But I feel like your spiritual awakening has been more so in how you see humanity, humanity, and how you just see yourself truly, Capricorn. I don't want to get too we can get really deep with this, Capricorn, but I feel like you understand where I'm trying to get at. Again, I feel like on some level maybe you are really cynical about the world and what have you, or at least you are able to acknowledge, Capricorn, like, where you could have improved on yourself. And I feel like you're still at that, like, that's just being human. Like, any non-egotistical person is like, there's always stuff that we can improve on. If you're not cringing about, like, how you acted and what you said, like, from a year ago, Capricorn, you're not growing. All right. And so that's a red flag. Right. And I feel like for you, you are really going into your future feeling a lot more grounded, a lot more together. All right, not to say that you were broken beforehand, Capricorn, but I feel like there are just certain facets of yourself where it's just it needed a little bit of fine-tuning, and so that fine-tuning happens, honey. All right, and now let's get into your present day here. All right, which is the beginning of the positivity, Capricorn, but your future is looking extremely good here. So your current situation, you have the Two of Wands, or Three of Wands rather, excuse me, the Page of Wands, the Four of Pentacles, and then the Queen of Cups coming in here, Capricorn. It's really interesting to me. All right. First of all, Capricorn, I see for your present here, you are now able to, I feel like you're a lot more careful about who you let in your inner circle. And I feel like for you now, you are really in tune with like where your spiritual team is trying to direct you, Capricorn. All right. I always say when it comes to this Three of Wands, the Three of Wands is like your spiritual team leaving breadcrumbs or leaving clues about where you should be going next and next and next here. And so I feel like on some level, Capricorn, you've already have been receiving signs about where to really go, but it wasn't until you had that tower moment and you had to walk away, Capricorn, from whatever that situation was. All right. It's like you had to finally put a chapter to rest. I don't even want to say chapter, Capricorn, because I feel like that's not enough finality. I want to really just be saying like a whole book. Like you finished a saga, you finished a novel, Capricorn, with something really that really played such a big role in your life, which leads me to believe this is like either like a, you know, either like family, Capricorn, or this could even be perhaps like a job or like a job situation that you really spent a lot of time and energy towards, right? Like there's a lot of long history here, a lot of life that has been lived, right? And I feel like as you continue following into these breadcrumbs, like following these breadcrumbs that your spiritual team is leaving you, Capricorn, you're stepping into new doors, and in response, you're also allowing certain energies to come into your life and allowing things to kind of start coming into fruition, Capricorn, that you've always had on your mind or always has been on some level around you. But now you're going to be able to have more time for the things that you actually enjoy, the more time for things that actually fulfill you, Capricorn. All right. And in your future here, we have two different kings, darling, two different kings. We have the King of Pentacles and the King of Wands here with the Six of Cups. And so this is interesting to me, Capricorn, because this leads me to believe, especially if this is about people, I feel like this is a separate situation, but I can kind of relate this in some ways due to the past. You know, if you look at the imagery of this card, the illustration, right? You see a boy and their dog, and then, you know, they live life, darling, and then they're a grown man with their dog, right? So it's like you've definitely like always had something relevant in your life, whether this is like a destiny thing, like what you always saw yourself doing, but you know, the circumstances weren't right, or whatever the case is, Capricorn. I feel like there was a situation that's like the right person, the right subject, the right concept, the right project, just not the right timing. And I feel like in your future now, because you closed off that chapter, you closed off that book, that major part of your story, you're able to finally invest into things that you've kind of kept on the back burner for quite some time, right? I'm being shown like a closet where it's like you have all these art supplies, you know, this is about a project and not people. But I do feel like on some certain level here at Capricorn, there's going to be certain people in your life as well that you're just like right person, but for whatever the reason is, you were not able to connect to them fully. Maybe you're just holding yourself back from it. Maybe you just didn't have the time or the emotional capacity for it here. But Two of Wands coming in here, your future is looking really bright. Your future is really looking really bright, and I don't feel like you even know what your future is going to look like. You just know it's going to be looking good. You just know it's going to be bright there. All right. I feel like for you, the phrase that comes to my mind is like, I feel like your future is going to be very unrecognizable from your now. And so what I mean by this is like where you are currently, what you've been working on, who you are around now is going to be vastly different compared to 6 months from now when you compare. All right. And so a lot of positivity to be looking forward to. You just have to continue following in the signs of your new destiny. All right. So let's get into your oracle reading today. You have the deep diver, Capricorn, diving into a task, right? So it's, yeah, I feel like for you, Capricorn, you're diving into some like a new, like a project that you just never had the time to dive deep with beforehand. And so what I really want to be encouraging you to do, Capricorn, at this time is to really be willing to just explore things that have been part of your life that you just never really had the time or the energy for. Don't psych yourself out, especially if this is about a person, Capricorn, right? You know, don't be like, oh, is this too late? Does this person really want to hear from me anymore? Da, 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 da. No, Capricorn, all right? The thing about it is, I feel like even though you're an earth sign, obviously, all right, I feel like for you, you are the king of wands. So it's like you've always been living in your and this could be you as well. You know, you could be the lion in the back observing this one person in this one situation where you always kept an eye on it there. And you might have always noticed being like, why is spirit never allowing this one chapter to close? Why is spirit always bringing up this certain person in my life? Da, 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 da. It's like, again, it's like the right subject, the right person, just like it needed more time to mature, and you know, y'all needed to experience your own things a little bit. But now coming back into it, it's going to be really, you know, this is two very mature energies. You know, I feel like for some of you Capricorns, you might be starting on a new business venture with somebody, and so that's what I see for you here today, Capricorn. A lot of positivity, a lot of chaotic energy, but you're walking away from it. You're walking away from it, and you're really excited about your future, or at least I am, and maybe I'm just projecting. So I love you so much, Capricorn. I have a new podcast, by the way, which I'll link down below. Hopefully you enjoy it if you want to listen to me talk about all things spiritual, and I'll connect you sometime in the near future, Capricorn. All right, bye, darling.